Something that doesn't get a whole lot of coverage in the Medicare space when we're talking about things that we need to do and things we don't want to do are health savings accounts, HSA accounts. If you've been working for an employer, especially for a large employer, for any amount of time, you likely have had a health savings account. And a health savings account is actually a pretty terrific thing. It's actually better than what most people understand. I'm going to talk right now how it works within Medicare and some things that you have to do that you need to be aware of before you come into Medicare with your health savings account. And then also I'm going to discuss of how I'm going to handle my health savings account, how I'm going to maximize my benefit so that it works very well going into the future, because it's a pretty good vehicle for investment. And a lot of people, like I say, don't really understand it completely. They think it's just to pay medical bills ahead of time, things of that nature. And it kind of is, but you can use it to your advantage. So I'm gonna go through that pretty easily so that we understand how it interacts with Medicare. And it's important to understand this. And I'm Heath, I founder of Medicare on Video. I help people across the country make the right Medicare choices. Please, when it's time for you to start Medicare, just visit my website, Medicare on Video, fill out the form. We'll email you a quote for the best Medicare supplement plan in your zip code. We don't sell your information to anybody. It's completely kept in-house, and we have lots of happy clients, and we certainly love to help you as well. Let's right now talk about health savings accounts. So there's a big rule that comes as a complete surprise to people coming into Medicare. So the rule is that you need to end contributions to a health savings account 6 months prior to starting Medicare. That's a pretty crazy rule. I'm not exactly sure why they would put this into place, but it prevents some real challenges for people coming up. If you're going to come into Medicare at age 65, you kind of know what you're doing and you know your timeline, and you can stop your contribution 6 months before the time that you start Medicare, which would be the first of the month that you turn 65. Now, where it becomes more challenging is people that continue to work after age 65 and want to continue to contribute into their HSA account or have their employer contribute into their HSA account. So in my situation, we have a HSA account through my wife's employer where she's been there for many years. We've always funded it, and the employer also puts in a pretty decent contribution because we are on a high deductible health plan. So a lot of times that's the case. If you choose the high deductible health plan, the employer will kind of offset some of that deductible by contributing into an HSA account. So that's all good stuff. And let's back up a little bit and understand HSA accounts. They're very similar to 401k accounts where you put money in pre-tax, but the benefit to an HSA account is you can get that money out pre-tax. So there's never any tax on that money if you use it correctly. So important to understand that. Where a 401k, you put it in pre-tax, someday you're going to take it out, and when it comes out, you pay taxes on it. With an HSA account, if you do it correctly, you don't ever pay taxes on it. So it's a terrific vehicle to have going into the future. So we really want to keep this HSA account as long as we possibly can. We certainly want to contribute as long as we possibly can. So backing up again to this 6-month time frame before you start Medicare. So before you start Medicare Part A, you need to stop contributions into your HSA account 6 months prior to that. So some people turn 65 and they continue to work past age 65, not really ready to come into Medicare, but they start Part A. So you wouldn't want to do that because Part A is really not going to provide any benefit to you. And then it's also going to create a complication with this HSA account. Now, what I can't tell you is what the ramifications are, the penalties for continuing to contribute to an HSA account. I would assume when it would arise, a problem is if you ever have an audit. If they audit you and they see that you have continued to contribute to an HSA account within that 6-month window or ongoing while you're in Medicare, it would pose a problem and there would be some financial penalty to that. So we don't want to deal with that. We kind of want to play by the rules. So where this does become more of a challenge, again, is when people work past age 65 and they're going to retire age 68, 70, 75, whatever it may be. So you're continuing to contribute to your HSA account. Now, when you do that, you aren't exactly putting up big flags saying, hey, employer, I'm going to be leaving, in the near future. So it may change your work environment. But when you stop your contribution, so if you've been contributing to your HSA account for 20 years and all of a sudden you stop, any HR department that's worth their wear knows that's a signal that you're going to be leaving in about 6 months. So it's kind of crazy that they would put this in, that you have to basically notify your employer that you're going to be leaving in about 6 months, and you're notifying them because you're stopping contribution into your HSA account. So again, this is a crazy rule, but it is there and we need to understand it. So you need to figure out when you're going to retire. And again, a lot of times people are forced into retirement. They don't have a 6-month window to figure this out. And again, hopefully it won't come back to bite you, but likely in an audit is where it would come up as being a problem. So that 6-month window ahead of starting Medicare, Part A, Part B, but primarily really Part A can start before Part B. So just any part of Medicare, we have to shut it down 6 months ahead of time. So that's my situation as well. So my wife's going to be retiring in the not too distant future. We've stopped the contribution into the HSA account. But here's some stuff people don't understand about HSA accounts. And it's actually very beneficial if you use it correctly. Again, this is tax-free money. So 25, 30% more in our pocket than what it would be if it were being taxed. So the way I'm going to handle it, we've been contributing for a very long time, haven't had too many medical expenses along the way. So we probably have $35,000, $40,000 in this HSA account. So what most people don't realize is, number one, to use it, it has to be used for qualified medical expenses. So we kind of understand that. Sometimes it's a little gray if we go to Walgreens and we're picking up over-the-counter stuff, whether they take it out of the HSA. But for me, I don't want to use HSA money because I'm going to use it later. And the way I'm going to use it later, something people also don't understand, one qualified medical expense is Medicare Part B premiums. So we all pretty much are going to have Medicare Part B premiums. Some of us are going to have much higher than others, but the base premium right now going into 2025 is $185 a month. So that $185 a month can be paid with HSA money, so tax-free money. So that's a wonderful thing to know and understand. Another thing people don't quite understand is you don't have to do it right when you spend it. You don't have to take it out of your HSA right when you spend it. You can take that money at any time for previous expenditures. So what I'm going to do is let my HSA money sit there, continue to create an investment, because the investment money is also tax-free. So let it sit there, let it grow. I'll be paying my Part B premiums, and my Part B premiums are going to be higher than that 185. So they can go all the way up to about $600 a month per person if your income is in a certain level. And I have videos on that as well. So I'm going to let that money sit there, and then my Part B premium is going to get paid, and I'm going to pay it with my regular money that I pay everything else with. And then 5 years from now, when I've paid what my HSA account is valued at, I can simply withdraw that HSA money and put it into my regular investments as tax-free withdrawal. So fantastic. So you just want to keep track of your Medicare Part B premium. That, to me, the easiest way to kind of use it. You know, obviously, if you have a big medical expense, a hospital admission, something like that along the way. But if we're on original Medicare with a supplement plan, we don't have any big expenses medically. So that Medicare Part B premium, unfortunately, Medicare supplement premiums are not classified as qualified medical expenses. I don't understand that either, but Part B premium is. So I'm going to let it grow, let it roll, pay my Part B premiums as I normally would. And then once we've reached that limit, then I can do whatever I want with that HSA money, and it comes out tax-free. So that's something I think most will find helpful. Hopefully you'll find it helpful. And again, we're here to help with your Medicare stuff. So feel free to give us a call, visit my website. That's what we do. We put you in the right plan and the right price at the right place, and just get it all as easy as we possibly can. So I hope you found this helpful. Have a fantastic day.